Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Muriah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have my lovely co-hosts. Hi, ladies.
Excellent morning.
Excellent morning. How is everything?
Oh.
Did we see you yesterday? No, we didn't.
Yes.
How was
I
your
was
weekend?
rounding up my Olushola Lanre Coaching Academy 7 days intensive class. And I'm really, really excited about it. A lot of things were revealed to me. You know, like when you bounce into class thinking I'm here to get techniques to go and solve other people's problems.
And
then
you.
in class, your eyes opening to, okay, I have problems. I haven't even sorted myself out. It was really mind-blowing. But I have a lot of assignments before I get certified. So I have 30 days to deliver. I'm going to be doing 50 free sessions of coaching, 50 hours of free coaching. I'm going to be doing my assignments and my tests and examinations. When I'm done, then I'll be certified as a life coach.
Oh, wow.
OLCA, baby.
So I can come and apply to
yes,
be...
I can coach on anything.
Okay.
On anything. So I have the tools and the methodology to coach on anything. And the humility. I was humble. Till Nima came this morning, I looked for my trouble.
Because I was waiting for that. So we took a picture, myself and Obiajulu, where we were posing with each other. That was the drama that happened upstairs. So we've not taken the picture of hugging. We've not played that part out.
We've not hugged.
The part we played out was the punch. But just don't worry, when it's a hot topic, it will be hot.
So their drama has been turned to a hot topic. So we're going to discuss it next week. Don't worry. How you doing, Nima?
Watch out. That is it, African Magic.
Watch out now.
Watch out.
Anything? What's up? Any plans for the week?
I'm just fine today. Since we're together on set, maybe we'll go for a spa date later after the show.
That's how Jumoke used to carry them to spa dates. I want to start that culture.
No, when they joined newly, you know I didn't go for the spa at the natural sauna with you guys. Right. So Alaji has been, thank you sir, Alaji Lance of Lasena Waters. As you know, I had that appointment before you guys went. So I said, since they are new, I'll wait for whenever we're on set together to go. Okay. I think it's overdue, so we'll do it today. Most likely.
You did not tell us, so I did not plan that.
How are you doing, Jerry Mariam?
I'm doing fine. I was here yesterday, and everyone except for Obiajulu, nice to see her.
Thank you, darling.
Her blonde hair.
This jacket that you don't put your hands inside the jacket?
I mean, it's
very chic.
Yeah, it's chic. It's fashionable. Please, I think I heard that I don't have a smiley face. I want to address that. I'm a nice person. Please, you can approach me. It's just my face, the way it's set, you know, but I'm smiling inside. I truly am.
Like a fashion model. Yeah. Set like a fashion model. You know, don't smile on the wrong way.
Interesting. But I can't get over this. I see this jacket a lot. People just wear it and they don't. Why did you create sleeve when you don't put your hand inside the sleeve? I don't get it.
That's the
creativity. That's the
creativity.
Well, I'm doing very well. So say the expressing. I'm expressing a lot. You know, it's not easy, but it's getting better.
Since
definitely gets it since palm wine. Palm wine actually helped.
Yeah. Okay, good.
But I started having a running tummy, so I paused it for a day. But I think I'm going to resume today. Okay. But actually, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. People just send you messages. They just say hi, and expect you to say something.
Have you received?
I received those messages, like random messages from numbers I have no idea who you are.
Have you received XUP? SOP. It's supposed to be SOP, but then they send XUP.
What's SOP?
Like what's up?
I don't understand.
Oh,
it's so irritating.
What's SOP?
Yeah, like, so they send XUP.
So I get it. Thank God Morel started it. Some people think I'm a full-time mother. That's because if you ask me what I do, I'm a part-time lawyer, part-time co-host, but I'm a full-time mother and a wife. I have business that I do at home that I cannot drop and have time for shit. So the ones on Facebook and Instagram is fine, but you finally get my number. Right. And then you say hi. I'm supposed to say hello.
Exactly.
Say, how was your day?
That's what I'm saying.
I don't have time
if you got my number and you want me to do something, write it out. Hi, this happened. And I read it. When you say hi, I'm supposed to just say hello. Yeah. Or start chatting. Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
I ain't got time for that. I do hello, and I leave it there. If you don't say anything, we'll leave it. Yeah.
You get to the stage where you don't even answer. They're very nice.
The truth is, when you say hi, I'll be like, you are still on high level. Let me quickly watch.
Exactly.
Let me quickly watch plate and
I'm telling you. Anyways, let's. It's Tuesday. We have one serious topic that affects every human being called a woman. You don't want to miss that conversation. Always first, we'll take the front pages of the newspaper. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So we read the papers and a few top stories came to mind. Let's start with a chef slits the throat of a lawyer and steals his money to pay hotel bills. Who had that story?
I
think it was a
the
New
story.
Telegraph.
Please, let me take that story. Okay. So this young man, 21-year-old Joshua Usolo, had gone into a hotel room and slit this lady's throat. She had come into Lagos for a meeting. Her name was Feitayo Obot, 34-year-old barrister. And he took away her 26,000 naira and her mobile phones. A month after, they didn't find him. The police found her with stab wounds to her abdomen and her neck as well. Then a month after, he attacked a lady called Tosin Greg, and she was heard screaming and shouting. The police ran after him. That was how he was arrested and the gun taken off him. And that was how they were able to find that he had a connection to that murder. And all for 26,000 mobile phones.
That's amazing. Yes. They did the investigation.
Yes.
So
enclosed, yes.
Based on the fingerprints and all that around the knife that they found at the scene of the crime at Okwebi on the lawyer.
Wow.
And, they were able to match it.
We have that in Nigeria now, fingerprints?
Yeah, our police, it's our own police that did it too. So those ones that are disturbing us at Osho, the Express, I don't know which department, but the real Nigerian police, they investigate crimes.
Oh, fantastic. Nice. All right, okay.
Don't worry that there's no security. We have security issues in the hotel. So how do you get into the hotel, stab somebody, and you're able
to set to rob her? But she resisted,
and then they got into the
she's making the
security in the hotel.
Yeah, security in the hotel, really, and that's private sector. We need to ensure that the owners provide adequate security. There's another story that caught our attention. Amosu Okorocha ignores APC intensified campaign for APM and AA. We know obviously that the candidates, the governorship candidates, gubernatorial candidates in APC is not favorable to the to Okorocha. So obviously he has intensified his campaign to push the candidates of other parties. Yesterday
we had a very important, very influential guest, and he said something about politicians who were not selfless. And there's always called a party, wherever you align, there's always called a general agenda that you must align with. These two guys are featured in disunity back to back. They've won on a platform and are campaigning on another platform, and it's going successfully. Even though that they've been suspended from the APC as it is now, they're continuing blatantly in the face of everything.
No, but do you think
it's most likely going to cause more problem for the party? I think deviant behaviors like this within the party.
And I think the police also, that's going to be a flashpoint. I mean, they need to really have adequate security in Imo for this.
Okay, so that's the negatives. But could we see it as a positive that, democracy is evolving and people are allowed to...
You're very optimistic, girlfriend. Yeah, it's all good, though.
Let us be allowed to form different parties. We do not have to have those people that are always there all the time.
Right.
And it's we need to have standards.
Another story that caught our attention was, I think it was in Tribune, late Bade forfeits 6 properties and $1 million to federal government. He's passed on, but I think they were able to take the company's name. I think it's Yalikam Nigeria Limited.
Air staff Alex Bade was charged alongside the company Yalikam Nigeria Limited, this company with which he laundered this amount of money and carried out this fraud. So, of course, he was murdered, but the company entered the plea bargain, which the court took cognizance of, and in the plea bargain, they were willing to forfeit the monies in question, and the money, the $1 billion that was found at the premises, and,
5 other properties.
That accrued to them during this. And because he's dead, the court terminated the charges against him. Of course, I believe some people have issues and say an academic exercise should have continued. We should have convicted him even if he's passed. But I believe that the court shouldn't waste their time on certain futilities.
Okay, but I wanted to find out that, but there are cases where even when the person dies, the case continues, and then you're sentence either whether you're alive or not.
Of course, with this conviction of the company, the final outcome that would
What I want to know is that, does death absolve you of your crimes?
You can be charged posthumously.
Yes.
You didn't hear the judgment.
No, I'm asking.
Death doesn't absolve anybody of the crime. The crime has been committed. The court has found it and as such taken out certain practical convictions and sentences that would apply. But the person is dead. What's the
exactly?
Let's move on. There's another story that caught our attention. I think it was Ashiwaju responding to Sahara reporters saying that my intervention in Oyo APC was talking about. Who has that story? I think he was just saying that Sahara reporters that came out with the publication saying that he was going to ban Ajimobi from APC rallies and other meetings. And he's saying that's not true, that he and Ajimobi are actually partners. They're not rivals. You know, that he respects Ajimobi, and that he's somebody that is a chieftain in the APC, and he's obviously somebody that is very respected. So the publication obviously is false, according to him. That's what he was trying to say. There's another story in Punch that caught our attention. The girl that died after family, somebody put her in hot water. What happened?
Yeah, so I have the story. This particular girl was the, more like a caregiver, put her on like a drum of boiling water. I really do not understand how that happened. Left her there and went away. And so she mistakenly fell into the hot water and died. So she's, the case has been, you know, she's going to be prosecuted for negligence.
Yes.
Yes, that's the
So
main
I love
thing.
that fact that, you know, of course, this is most likely a negligent behavior.
Yes.
We see it happen all the time. So a child is learning to walk, you let the child go closely to danger zones. The things you as an adult should take care of, you didn't take care of them.
3 years old.
But I want to remove premeditated intentions to harm the girl.
Wait.
She was really
it's probably
negligent.
premeditated because you made her sit on a hot water, on a bowl of hot water.
According to the story, she sat on hot water.
Was it a punishment?
It said hot,
No.
bucket of hot water.
Right.
So she, probably, most likely, the way I believe, she was really negligent in this. She was a caregiver.
This is where we need to be
negligent
careful. That
behavior.
is why we should be careful not to employ caregivers that are not old enough to take care of your children.
Or, you know, even when they're old enough, they're not fully whole mentally.
Or they're not even trained.
to
Not
do this.
trained.
Many
to be
people
caregivers.
now are starting companies that are actually training caregivers and helpers so that when they come to your house, they know first aid, they know what to do, to how to call emergency, but they know what to do and what not to do.
Though it's expensive.
It's expensive, but at least that's the future.
The honest truth is that we get our caregivers from people who are not doing so well, or, you know, like a poorer
Relatives.
demographic,
They
you
come
know.
with their own
So
baggage.
they come with their own home training or lack
All right,
of it.
let's move on quickly now. EFCC quizzes Atiku's son-in-law for allegedly laundering $50 million. Who has that story?
I have it too.
Is that kind of story you read?
Yes, we are excited about it.
Atiku is screaming that, you know, that they're persecuting his family members, his son-in-law and his lawyer, Giwa Sage, are being arrested by the EFCC. And the EFCC is saying that the guy in question was caught laundering 103 million euros. And, you know, that is, of course, money laundering. That is the case against him. His lawyer was saying that EFCC came to their house with a search warrant, and they couldn't execute it until his lawyer came. They searched the first property, they didn't find any incriminating property. They searched about 3 properties without finding anything incriminating on there, and still took him away. That's what his lawyer is saying in the paper.
So he's feeling indicted.
Our guy is saying
Okay.
persecution.
Othedala Bridge again, no? They said that they found Ogun mass transit burnt. Who has that story? And it actually was actually in Punch.
Yeah.
It was right here, Othedala.
Yes.
Just
You got that,
yesterday.
Mariam?
Yes, a BRT bus had just driven into a petrol station, and they said that it was a spark in the bus, and then it caught fire.
Right here.
Thankfully,
The same point
thankfully
the
nobody,
tanker
yes,
happened last year. But you know, tanker was going. This one was coming into
Into my
Lagos.
personal area, I always pray
Yeah,
the
you
blood of
always
Jesus.
pray.
I always
I know.
pray.
Yeah.
No,
When I
but
pass that place.
you know,
thankfully no lives were lost. So
You know, the buses, the normal yellow buses don't really take care of their vehicles.
But
They
this is
don't
the
really
BRT.
check. But this is a BRT, so I
no, is it
expect.
BRT? What do you call
Is
the
it
Ogun State?
It doesn't matter the
Transit?
state, yes. I think they should be running checks to make sure that the cars they are
Yeah.
putting on the road is okay.
But you know,
Safety
really,
first.
anything could have happened.
Well,
I think they should
when you're passing that
investigate.
area, I just pray. Because
Every time
that's like the
I
3 or
still
3rd or 4th. I mean, always some accidents are always happening there. Either with
It's a major expressway, and drivers are
because it's the
drivers.
descent that happens
Exactly,
that
the
the
way
tankers
the
now slip
structures,
flip over. Okay, final story that caught our attention was a woman that gave birth to triplets after losing 2 children to kidnappers.
Yes, I have the story.
Yes,
So
Raju.
this particular woman, a couple of years back, she owned the store, and then she got somebody who came to, apply to work in the store. And then the person said, okay, she said, the girl's name was Grace, go and get a referee before you can commence work in my store. Only for the girl to go with 2 of her kids, disappeared. And so they looked, she spent money with SARS, trying to locate the child and all of that. And then at some point, she tried to commit suicide twice because she felt she had no hope left. But thankfully, God blessed her with triplets. So they are all celebrating.
That's a
Yeah,
good
so she
story.
said that even though she's been blessed, she has not given up, and she's still hoping that she will find her children. It's been 2 years since those children were taken.
It's an endless search until you
Yeah.
find them.
Right. All right, unfortunately, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. As we said, we have a very, very interesting discussion today about this new ruling that happened, I think it was in Ibadan. Divorce your wife you lose your house. Let's discuss it. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So a court in Ibadan, or your state, has granted a woman with children the right to live in her husband's house even after her divorce. According to the judge, a husband who marries a wife and builds a house during pendency, during the pendency of the marriage, stands the risk of losing that house if he later divorces the woman who had children for him, unless such woman of her own volition leaves her matrimonial home. Now, what are your thoughts on this? You can join the conversation on 070-806-68014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. When I read this judgment, and we forwarded to a lot of girls, my friends, everybody was really excited. There was this air of happiness. Yes, about time, because we all know people who've had stories of men, even our fathers, uncles, they say, please, get out of my house. I'll pack you, I'll send you packing. I'll say, all Nigerian movies, Nollywood movies, they're always sending you guys packing.
Go back to your father's house.
Go back here. So with this judgment alone, they've almost turned that around 360. Now, what are your thoughts when you heard what are the stories have you heard concerning this?
This is a statute of general application before 1900, and those are the laws that were made in England, and then applied here because of lack of laws at the time. They were called statutes of general application. They were to apply until they are domesticated, or And I, as a lawyer, would never have thought to bring an application using an old statute of 18-something. So I must commend the lawyer. Wherever you thought to find this law, good. And the judge that upheld it, well done.
Even the girl that took the case to court.
No. You know, a lot of people go. I do divorces, and we try to get maintenance. A lady came on the live audience. I've studied her court judgment back to back. I still don't know how to get her maintenance. She's been abandoned by her husband and children. I've studied it over and over. Whenever she calls me, she doesn't know how pained I am because I don't know how to go about it here in Lagos. So I don't know where this lawyer got.
So with this judgment, can you help your case with her?
Of course, if this is still an high court level, I'm hoping that he goes all the way to Supreme Court. So it becomes a very, at least at the appeal court, it becomes a precedent that, is applicable everywhere, and that way it becomes law. But we don't have this kind of precedents back over and over. What is the usual norm is that there was an equity rule that a woman cannot advance her husband. So maybe you're married and then you help your husband to build the house, then you can lay claim through those rules of equity.
But in this story, could you tell? Okay, go ahead.
I
was going to establish what happened in the story. Now I'll come to you. What happened in the story was that the man married the wife, right? The woman was not educated, and she was not. She wasn't engaged. She didn't have a job. So in her own view, even though she wasn't working, the resources within her own means, she helped her husband to build the house. The man said, no, like, what do you mean by that? You are just a housewife. You did not contribute 1 iota of money into this product, into the house. That all my properties that I have, you didn't give me one thing. You don't a housewife. You don't have a job, so you cannot contribute. So that was the case. But today, the judge is saying, regardless of that, she still can hold claim to that house.
Already she can hold claim even without that law.
Yes.
Omo, when I saw the judgment, I was excited because I think a few days back I was going through my Instagram page and I saw Dr. Maimuna, that psychologist that came on the show, and she put up something. She said the Nigerian laws are not as against women as we think, but I didn't get what happened till I saw this story. I was like, oh, so this thing has been on since 1882, and somebody just, I know, and somebody just, but it was within our reach, and nobody, because this, I want to support the judgment in the sense that a lot of men will wake up now to know that you cannot do and undo the way they have been. Because I remember having a conversation with my father one day, and he told me, he said, I know you like to pool resources with your husband, though. I know you guys have the same purse, you do everything, but make sure you have something of your own. So he was giving me that advice based on his background, because I've seen things happen and women are being chased out of the house, even with the children.
Trust me.
We don't care how they survive.
We all have these stories, though. my uncles, my aunt, everybody in my family at some point has gotten that trend of, get out of my house!
As excited as I am about the judgment, I still would like to see how this pans out when it comes to enforcement. And I do not think that I think that there are a lot of women in Nigeria that are not aware of the law, but there are people that are aware of the law that have gone to court and still have been unable to get, physical enforcement of that law. So you go to court and they say to the husband to pay alimony and child support. Those sort of things don't happen in Nigeria. You can go to court as no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, the enforcing of that thing, you go to the court. The court says, okay, go ahead and pay, but they don't get those payments. So the judgment is one thing, but then to make sure that this is executed and carried out is another thing. And I think that is where we now come in and start talking about it. So now more women are going to be saying, oh, so this is possible and this is the way that I have to
come to Nima for a second, because you're a lawyer, and we're still going to call a lawyer later on today, but help us understand what this judgment means for us as women. You said you might still be appealed and taken to Supreme Court level.
It might be repealed because it's an old law.
It's an old law. Applicable
at the time when there was lack of laws. Now we use the Marriage Act. So this is a good one. It might be, just a declaratory judgment. The judge is trying to change the narrative and make people look at women and maintenance differently. But our laws provide for maintenance post-divorce. It provides for...
But they're not substantial, and they're not.
No, we are not even strongly willing to enforce. So you force the man, you go back, you have to go back to court, get an enforcement order sometimes. You have to, seek the court assistance to get the man to enforce. It's a lot of work. Some women are just tired, and even from the stage of the divorce, like, oh, whatever they give me, let them just give me my children. Because our men still have this reign over children, and they use that to punish their women. So for me, I really would love to see this at an appeal stage and see the Court of Appeal uphold it and say whether this law is now a stale law or not. It applies here, whether or not the Marriage Act, because this provision applies.
Let me take this call from Olasokom. Yeah. Olasokom, are you there? Holding for a while.
Yeah, I'm here.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, this topic of yours this morning is very interesting. Yep. I want to agree with your co-host, Uju, or what's her name?
Yes.
Implementation. But I want to remind Nima that she shouldn't be surprised about this law. Because in Islam, there is a similar thing like that. Course, that when you are divorcing your wife,
you verse
for a period of time. When I don't know if you understand, because that's the norm. So for a period, maybe during that period, you may also reconcile again. So this is the spirit of the law. You understand? So when that law is implemented, it is giving the opportunity of both parties to reconcile and have a repent. I don't want to lose this, and you don't want to lose that. You understand? But Islamically, it is applicable.
All right.
So that when they try, only in Islam, it's not something that is permanent.
Right.
It's just for a
thank you very much.
So let me quickly clear that. The Ida period in Islam is 3 months post-divorce, or once the divorce is initiated. The objective is, of course, to see if the couple would resolve and to see if the woman is pregnant in between, so the man doesn't abdicate his responsibilities over the child. But this is a permanent rule that the court is giving, that, as long as she had advanced or she was dependent on him while they were married, she automatically takes over the house that they built together. The law already gives women room when they are dependent on their husbands and they are taking custody of the child for maintenance. But this is a new angle. That the house that was built during dependency while the marriage was subsisting.
Let me take this call from Victory. Victory, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Honestly, I would have expected Nima to expatiate more on this issue.
I'm not the judge.
Your colleague there was able to itemize it, because you and I know pretty well that most judgments in Nigeria, honestly, over 1 million judgments have not been practically executed. In terms of even compensation in Nigeria, you and I know.
It's not the lack of the judgment.
As you just mentioned, a neighbor, similar thing happened to her, and even up to tomorrow, nothing has been done about it. But I'm happy this came up, and this will serve as a challenge for other men that see women as an avenue to enrich themselves. In most cases, it happens to people that are these illicit traders. And once they contribute money to bring up instructors, the next the man will dump them and bring in another woman, and which is very morally, it's not sound at all.
All right. Thank you very much. Now, yes, let me get to jump in here.
So, coming back yesterday evening, I was having this conversation with my husband in the car, and he was upset. And he was like, why will I leave the house? Why will I leave the house for you? Not, you know, in case anything happens. Yeah. Why will I leave the house for you? I said, okay, what if I've been, not even what if, I have been supporting you. I give you the peace that you need to go out there and make that money. He said, but she was just a housewife. I said, excuse me, do you know the work a housewife does? I now took his mind back to when we were in the US in December. My sister was looking for a help. And the help she got to just take care, she is a nurse, to take care of the house was charging $1,000 a week. Do that calculation. I said, so if you had to pay that housewife to take care of those children, don't you think she will have enough money of her own and to support you? So don't tell me the woman is not doing it. It was a heated argument. I had to calm down. You're not on the show with me.
you know, that's an interesting point, because I was thinking that, I mean, we watch American movies, and that is where we see when people are about to separate or divorce, they share their property into two. So that sounds a bit fair to me, but being a woman now, I'm just happy that the woman is on the side of advantage, where it would be fairer to have it shared equally.
We're going to take a break. We're not going to bring in a lawyer at 8:30 to talk to us on the phone. So don't please to clarify on this. But there was another video that went viral of a man flogging, or family flogging a woman who cheated, according to allegedly cheated on her husband. And they were flogging her like a child. Did you see that video? Yeah. They were really beating her. Right. Now, in the case of alleged adultery, even though yes,
she confessed to it.
She confessed to the adultery, would she still be entitled to some kind of compensation? Let's go on a break. We'll be right back.
That's our goal.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're going to get a lawyer on the phone, but I'm told that we're having issues with the network. But in the meantime, I was going to talk about the fact that
if the woman deserved,
or the divorce is such that it's the woman's fault, you know, would she still be entitled to
if she didn't ask for the divorce? And it's important who is in custody of the children and the home that they are used to. Those are certain factors that we don't always consider. In the cases that I see, most times the women have to struggle. And I wanted to tell the caller, the courts courts are not just wicked. They give these judgments and you don't push it to enforcement stage. If your husband is not willing to follow a court order, there are steps to ensure he does that. Another thing curtailing women, there was a lady who came on the live audience all the time. They come and she gave me a case. The husband had taken custody of her 2 boys somewhere in Ondo State. She didn't have the means for us to pursue this case beyond the notice. So I was willing to do it. And once, after I advised her on how it will go and what we have to do, she didn't call back. Most women are curtailed by this. So when you see a judgment like this that encourages women, of course, everybody will jump on it. But how many women can afford to stand on the ground?
I know a couple.
Most of the time, they ask for pro bono. And you can't.
I know a couple. They've been married about 15 years. The kids are grown. They're teenagers. And the man just suddenly woke up one day and said he's done with the marriage. And the wife... Unfortunately, the wife is someone that she owns her business, but the man was on providing for the home. So now he left the house, but he has told the woman that she must vacate. He has given her a period. Okay, within the next few months, you need to leave the house like a tenant. You need to get out of the house. Interestingly, he now sends his family members
to go and
start living. I mean, start encroaching in her space, make her uncomfortable. In that kind of situation, so. Are we saying that by this judgment, and I'm hoping we can get in touch Mrs. Falano, she can get online, we can ask her, by this judgment, are we saying that woman, this would have been 15 years married to this man, can actually lay claim to that house, say, you know what, walk out the trespassers, the family members, and say, you know what, this house belongs to me. Yes. Is that what this judgment is saying?
Yeah, this is the judgment. So as long as you have, if the man had the house before you came into the picture, it's a different thing.
Is that true?
It's not even a different thing.
Oh,
Because
no,
we
but
need-
according to what we read,
according to this judgment, yes.
That's what
talking
the
about,
court-
yes,
okay,
according
yes.
to the
When-
judgment,
where is
if the
success?
man had a house before you came in, that's different.
Okay.
But as long as you were married, you guys started together and you built together, whoever was bringing the money doesn't count. So this holds.
Okay.
That's what the judgment is saying.
Okay,
But, you know, you asked the question earlier and you said, if the woman is the one who is at fault, maybe adultery and all of that. But we've had men who have been at fault in marriages and then they kick you out. So it still boils down to our society where we think the man owns everything. The woman is a property, so to speak.
Joining us on the phone now is a lawyer and human rights activist, Mrs. Fumi Falana. Welcome to the show, madam.
Yes, thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. I hope you're excited as we are about this judgment.
Yes. The judgment is very exciting, though.
Yes.
And that has been the position of the law for some time now.
Right.
But you see, most people do not understand the judgment that the judge delivered.
Okay.
What the judge said was so that you lose your matrimonial home to your wife. No, the judgment says that where there is any property acquired during the wedding, during the marriage, when the two of them are cohabiting,
Right.
the property of the marriage will be shared equally. Equally.
Oh, equally.
Among the two of them.
Okay.
Both the husband and the wife will have equal share.
Oh.
Now, in the case of Ibadan, there were two properties.
Okay.
They have one in Akure, one in Ibadan.
Right.
The one in Ibadan has one uncompleted building in front, and the other one, the flat they were living.
Right.
Now, they have 4 children, and it is the right of those children to be accommodated,
Yes.
Right.
to have home over their head.
Right.
And so they are entitled to live in that house.
Wow. Gotcha.
So the property was given to those 4 children. The one in the house, the court said, the one in the front, the house in the front, uncompleted. The court said that one will be sold and the proceeds will be
given to
shared
the man.
equally
Okay.
among the two
All right.
of them.
Now, ma, in cases where there are no children involved, just a marriage, just both of you be married.
Where there are no children involved,
Right.
the property, all the properties acquired during the marriage will be shared equally between the man
Awesome.
and the wife. Now, it used to be the law, and it's no longer the law. Now, because of the new development in human rights and reproductive rights in the whole world, not just in Nigeria, it used to be the law that the woman will need to put evidence of contribution in form of receipt. How much did she contribute to the property while they were living together? But that is no longer the law now. The law is that even if she did not contribute physically,
Fantastic.
she must have contributed emotionally.
Yes, so that's right.
Sexually.
Fantastic. All right. We have one more question for
You
you.
will not have contributed
Right.
one way or the other.
Fantastic.
That is the position of the law as of today.
All right,
And
go ahead.
so,
All right.
throw your wife away and have the property shared equally.
Fantastic. Thank you. Let me take one question for you. Yes, go ahead, Mariam.
Okay, I have this question. In the case where there's no property that they own, maybe they rented a place, what happens then? Does the man pay half the rent even when he has to leave the place? Or who leaves and who stays and who pays rent?
Yes, in case of a couple that does not have any no property at all, then there's nothing to share. Now, in Nigeria, under our law, there is no alimony. But you are entitled to pay maintenance and the school fees of your children.
Yes.
But upon the dissolution of your marriage, you are not entitled to pay continuous maintenance to the wife.
Okay.
But you are entitled, it is your duty to continue to pay maintenance and the school fees, of course, everything that the children will need. It is the duty of the man to continue to pay.
Okay.
But it does not owe the woman the duty to continue to pay her rent
Gotcha.
upon the solution of the marriage.
All right.
But until the marriage is dissolved, if it is separation, he is entitled to continue to pay maintenance.
Okay.
We agree.
All right.
So the woman and to the children.
All right.
Now, not talking legal. Let's talk about the thin line of abuse.
To pay maintenance to the woman is but he will continue to maintain the children until
Point taken, ma. Point taken. Let me let Nima jump in.
So let's talk about the thin line of abuse. Now, this is not legal. Women, can find a way now and say, okay, yes, now that I'm empowered, this is how to plan and do this thing. What will you advise a man whose wife is most likely trying to abuse this judgment and, and take advantage of him?
And that is why we keep telling women that they let them not misunderstand this judgment. Okay. The judgment did not say you will lose your matrimonial home to the wife. No, you are just equitably entitled. I mean, it is just fair that having lived together for a period of time and acquire certain properties, you are entitled to part of the property. Not that the man will be chased away from the house or will not have anything in the property. But the man and the woman, we have to share the property equally. So the woman should not misunderstand and abuse.
Okay, let me.
I will take away your house from you. No, that's not the position.
Okay, let me pause you for a second. Let me let Julie jump in here.
Okay, ma. In a case where it's just one building that they have, that is all they have, and both of them are not agreeing to leave, like sell and share the money. They are divorced, but they want to have, how do they share that one building if they decide to stay in that house?
Yes, if they decide, the two of them decide to stay there.
Yes.
So, of course, you know that the justice of the case demands that the two of them can no longer stay under the same roof. So the court will need to make order either for them to sell the house and share the proceeds, or for one of them to pay off the other person, depending on the convenience of the two of them.
Fantastic. One more question, man. I was saying that in a situation where the wife committed adultery, I should answer that question, where the wife actually committed adultery and it was a public thing, and there was even a video that went viral where the husband and the family were flogging this woman. You are married, you have children, but you goofed. In that situation, does she still have a case to that house?
Oh, yes. Adultery is one of the grounds for the solution of marriage.
Okay.
But it does not take away her rights. So the properties they acquire.
Oh. We wanted the men to hear. Very good. Please say it again. Say it again.
She should be divorced. But that does not take away her rights. I haven't lived with the man for some time.
Thank
she
you.
takes her properties or her share of the property.
Fantastic.
And the court will dissolve the marriage. Because it's one of the grounds for the solution of marriage.
Fantastic.
Mommy, we love you.
Thank you very much, ma, for clarifying that for us.
I love you, ladies.
All right, take care.
Bye.
So we're going to take a few tweets before we're going to break.
Yes, so he here says, if they live in a rented apartment, the person retaining the kids retain the home. If she can't afford the rent, that will be considered by the court in granting custody.
Let me take this one. Ikpuri Haniel says, sometimes these court rules are just unfair, whereby it might be the woman is the problem in the marriage. Well, this man needs to get another land if there's money.
What if the woman is the owner of the house and she's divorcing her husband?
They will still share. Andrew here says, but Omo, that judgment hard, though. Chai.
But it's actually, that judgment, a lot of women out there that have been totally, what's the word I'm looking for? Depressed, the dehumanized. They've suffered for many years because we all, I don't know about you, but me, I know that growing up, I know lots of people that were thrown out of their homes. One thing or the other. One thing or the other.
Yeah.
The men were so empowered that it's almost gone into the fabric of our society.
Women suffer these things because, they just tell you pack out and go. Yeah. You don't go and find the means. Struggle, raise the money to seek your,
So the love has always been there. Just that we just never.
Most times when they even come, they come crying, and once they are crying, they expect manna from heaven. So some women have to find the will to fight this so that we have this kind of
some men might be looking at this and thinking this is just too difficult and not fair. But we realize that the way it used to be, where women would start committing some sort of crimes in their marriages because they wanted to stay irrespective of whether they were happy or not. So you hear stories of women who had children with other men in the house. So for me, I think it's a good thing that's happened to everyone. So you stay in the marriage if you can, and then when it does not work out, you are not lying and scheming to be in that marriage because you think you
Let's go on a break. Now that we've heard Mrs. Falana, we'd like to take some calls and hear your thoughts on this. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So while we're waiting for calls on this issue, that video, I mean, I think it's only worth talking about. The fact that I know many people watched that video and a grown woman was being flogged like a goat. And her crime is she cheated. Right. If a wife cheats on you, why don't you just file for divorce? Or say, you know what, we're done, dissolve the marriage. Must you flog her? Now gather family members. So a man had to now come in and that woman had to start holding the whip, telling the man, stop beating this woman. Isn't that barbaric enough? Or is that normal? Is that acceptable?
My friend, Diale, my former classmate from secondary school, has this nugget. He's a journalist with Daily Trust. He puts this nugget on Facebook and he had posted this particular thing on what he thinks about it. And a lot of people were commenting. So me, I reached my point. I looked at the video very carefully and saw that the brothers were really just trying really hard to do their own eye service for the husband to think she's been punished, so take her back. But this was an adult woman consenting. That's what people are missing. She consented to being humiliated, captured, and sent to her husband. Now. So, as I am now, that I can't even imagine that I'm tied down and somebody will successfully beat, not talk of when I'm free. You could have resisted, walked out.
So she wanted to show that she was punished. Okay, let me take this call and I'll come to you. Adedoyin, are you there?
Yeah.
Please go ahead. Thanks for calling.
Yes. With due respect to the woman that just explained the details
Mrs. Falana, yes.
on that divorce issue. Personally, I feel if a woman actually committed adultery, you understand, and you feel the property should be shared into two, it does not take off our rights, I think it's injustice on the men's side. Because let me paint a scenario. Let's assume I have a Islamic marriage. You understand? I want to win me over that in the court. I think it's not possible. It's questionable. How can somebody committed adultery and he said he still entitled to my property?
Okay. Point taken. Thank you very much for your points.
What she established was legal, and the law sometimes can be moral, but most times it might not. It's logical. So what is the ground for divorce is clear, but what she's entitled to is...
And you know what he's saying also, a lot of women will be saying, but many husbands have committed adultery and still get away with everything, and the wife is left with nothing.
So going to this...
But concerning that beating, you know, Nigerians, when we say any small thing, we say it's our culture. But then when it comes to something like this, we will say, oh, why didn't you run? It's the same, our culture. That woman looked at it as, in my culture, this is the punishment for adultery. And so that was...
spoke in the video?
It was explained. It was all over social media.
It was Yoruba. And how is that Yoruba culture? How much of Yoruba culture do you know?
I don't understand what you're saying.
I really don't understand what you're saying.
Who argue culture on that?
Who is arguing culture? We're talking of Nigerians. When any little thing they say, this is our culture. We're not saying Yoruba culture, we're talking of culture.
What I heard Mariam saying is that culture in the sense that, listen, I have to show that I'm really sorry. I'm going to subject myself to the fact that I'm going to subject myself to this inhumane treatment just to prove to my husband that I am sorry, so he can take me back. That's culture, because you don't want to see as a woman. You will not go to court and see as a woman that's out of her husband's house. You want to see as a woman that, so that's probably what that's what I heard.
Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that this is a cultural thing. It's not something you go to court and someone will be asked to be flogged for adultery.
I'm saying.
You hear it in villages, in places like that, people of limited education. I've heard it in places like Saudi Arabia. A person wrote a list, I think a woman, when she commits fornication or adultery.
I just said
make I land, madam. There's, you know, they put her she kneels down and her family, and I think the father is the first person to take the stone at her.
Okay.
Do you understand? So that is culture. But thank God now we have laws like this and people are getting educated and aware, and we're going to be moving from things like that.
This is painful, this is inhuman, this is just subjecting a human being to shame, you know, because the thing is, what is the end goal of that flogging? After the beating and the flogging and the humiliation, are you taking her back as your wife, or are you letting her go?
You see, that's an interesting question, because the reason why women subject themselves to this, and the reason why she mentioned the issue of culture, is that we go through this because we want to remain, we want to have that property. We don't want to leave our husband's house. We want to feel like, yes, I am still part of this family. Because if she didn't do that, she would then have been thrown out.
Yes.
Thrown out. But now a woman knows that, yes, I committed adultery, yes, wrong. However, but because I am married to you, I am still entitled to what we built together.
Okay, so I will go through that.
Doesn't make it right, doesn't make adultery right. It just means that, okay, it's a totally different moral issue from the legal issue that allows her access to the property.
So she's subjecting herself to undergo that torture because of property.
Right.
When she can easily take her things, leave the house, and go get a lawyer to fight for her.
Okay.
So I think we need to start becoming aware.
Let me take this call from Amaka. Amaka, are you there? Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please. Turn off your TV, please. I beg you. Right. She's listening to her TV.
Yeah. Okay. So let me quickly say that flogging a woman is not in the Yoruba culture.
She didn't say that.
No, hold on. Just so that some people don't misunderstand watching from home. It's not in the Yoruba culture. These are two men saying in their family, they deal with their daughters
that way
and abuse their own sisters to make went out of their way to make an impression on a son-in-law or a brother-in-law who probably is maybe rich or something, just so that, you know, we do something about it, we impress you.
Okay, so it's a family tradition.
That's the way they created that tradition. It wasn't anybody's culture. The little I know, as young as I am, of these cultures, I have never seen it happen. It's not today. Then the issue in Islam, yeah, 40 lashes is given for fornication, but that is law in some climes where they create it and accept it as the norm. Now, these two people, this woman in question was dehumanized, yes. It was degrading, yes. She was willing to go through it, also like her brothers, to make an impression.
Hey!
She stayed put while they were making the video. She was there when she started getting beaten. She continued. The video was till the end. She stayed put.
Nima, can I pause you for a quick second?
Adult.
We're saying two different things. The culture that you said earlier, I don't think what I heard, maybe you're right. What I heard initially was not that a Yoruba or Igbo culture or Hausa culture wasn't what you were saying. No. What I was hearing was the culture of that I must not leave my husband's house as an adulterer. I must come permissively beat me here, punish me, so that tomorrow I can still go out there. That's the culture she was talking about earlier. But let me take this call from, I think it's Yakub. Yakub, are you there?
Yeah, well, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Good morning to you all because of time.
Excellent.
I don't think this culture of the thing that we are talking about, the issue is not about the Yoruba culture or Igbo or an Hausa culture. I think I may be wrong or I may be right, but I think I'm right. Islamically, I think the flood of a person that committed adultery is allowed Islamically. But for the woman to subject herself for that flood, what is he looking for? In the course of this flooding her, assuming he got killed, what is going to happen? And I'm an opinion of one of your co-hosts there that you should leave and then go and have a lawyer to fight for her. Thank you. That's it.
A quick question. Was it the brothers, her own brothers, that did the flogging?
No. Yes, no.
It's a family tradition.
How dare they? How dare they?
In their own family because
oh, no.
All right, unfortunately, we have to run up. But I think the high point of this conversation is the fact that in a situation where a woman and a man are married together and they built their property together and they own things together, in the case of divorce, it's not like she gets the property. They split it equally. That's what Ms. Falana has corrected us. So women shouldn't go out there gloating, thinking, oh, yes, we get the house. No, you don't get the house.
Half is better than none.
Half is better than none. So it's divided equally between the both parties. So I think, and as Nima has said, hopefully it gets to Supreme Court or the level and it can become a proper law. So that at least going forward to serve as a new precedent going forward, so that women know that at least they have some kind of protection for their children. Because many years, many decades have passed where women have been thrown out with no help for their children. That's all we can take on the show. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's our live audience show. Please come early. Please join the show tomorrow. Have a fabulous day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Oh, so well done.